주장하고 있는 일본 시마네 현이 오늘 이른바 다케시마의 날 제정 1주년 행사를 강행할 예정입니다.
시마네 현이 오늘 집회를 열고 독도 영유권을 거듭 주장하고 있습니다.
독도는 우리 땅입니다.
정부는 독도가 역사적, 지리적, 국제법적으로 명백한 대한민국 고유의 영토임을 거듭 밝히며
다케시마와 昭和27年韓国の一方的な未承認ラインの宣言により50年以上にわたって不法に占拠され
February 22nd, 1905. Exactly 100 years before the designation of Takeshima Day by Shimane Prefecture of Japan, Japanese were at war with Russia. During this Russo-Japanese War, an increasing Japanese influence over Korea, Takeshima and Dokdo was proclaimed a part of Shimane Prefecture in Japan under the doctrine of terra nullius, meaning no man's land, an empty land. This is where the conflict began. Known as Dokdo in Korea and Takeshima in Japan, these are islets located in the East Sea, or Sea of Japan, about halfway between Korea and Japan. Consists of 2 barely habitable rocky islets and a number of small rifts. It is currently controlled and administered by South Korea, but claimed by Japan. Dokdo in Korean means a lonely island.
Today I'll be presenting part of my dissertation's findings, and particularly I'll focus on the Dokdo Takeshima dispute, which has marked South Korea-Japan relations for the past 50 years. The controversy over these rocks runs deeper than their literal meaning. Dokdo Takeshima has both a material and symbolic value. On the one hand, disputes over fishing and other marine resources have been closely associated with the sovereignty question.
In a hope to find the cause for this territorial dispute, I invited international students from both Korea and Japan and asked them how much they knew about Dokdo Takeshima issue.
We're international students coming from Korea.
We're international students from Japan.
독도가 우리 땅이라는 거는 어렸을 때부터 당연히 다 알고 있는 얘기였죠.
I think I don't know the issue that well to make a good opinion about it.
Dokdo, well, it's an important place for us.
I know it's really important because if you have Dokdo, your boundary gets really big and there are a lot of supplies around it.
I didn't know anything about the issue before that, anniversary setting by Shimane Prefecture. Well, I don't have any strong opinion, but then, well, I just know that there's a conflict between Japan and Korea about who it belongs to, and they're fighting for that place. It's a hard question.
한국 사람들이 감정적으로 대단히 싫어한다는 것만, 그리고 세계적으로는 조금은 독도가 한국 땅이라는 사실이 조금 덜 알려져 있다는 것 정도만 알고 있습니다.
But maybe compared to Koreans, I don't know anything about it.
I realized that the level of knowledge between the Koreans and Japanese on this Dokdo Takeshima issue was tremendously different.
과거 일본이 저지른 침략전쟁과 학살, 40년간에 걸친 수탈과 고문, 투옥, 강제징용, 심지어 위안부까지 동원했던 그 범죄의 역사에 대한 정당성을 주장하는 행위입니다.
In my opinion, even if Japan has a right for the Takeshima, Korean people wouldn't accept it because it's, Japan-Korea history thing.
It's a part of our old history. So, like keeping Dokdo means keeping our old history. That means keeping our country.
Well, I guess I sort of feel like the Koreans are like holding or clinging on to the past, like the history too much.
What history? Let's take a look at the short clip made by the Discovery Channel.
As the 20th century approached, Japan invaded the peninsula with the intention of conquering the mainland. Instead, they took Korea. Korea remained a colony of Japan for 35 years.
Koreans were given Japanese names. The speaking of Korean was discouraged. The eating of Korean food was derided. And when they were crossed, the Japanese could be very brutal.
The Japanese forced tens of thousands of young Korean women to work as sexual slaves, essentially, for the Japanese military, the so-called comfort women, as well as mobilizing hundreds of thousands of Koreans for forced labor in Japanese mines and factories. They imprisoned and killed thousands of Koreans who resisted. It was a policy of cultural obliteration of Korea's independent identity.
This question of Dokdo Takeshima is a matter of national pride and sovereignty. So a lot of South Koreans think to give up on the Dokdo Takeshima would be considered as, giving way the sovereignty over the entire Korean peninsula again to Japan.
을 조례한 가결로 시민단체의 분노도 극에 달했습니다.
For Koreans, Dokdo is indeed just more than a rock island. It is their pride, history, and dignity. Thus, the Japanese claim over the ownership of Dokdo can assuredly fuel the anger in the heart of Koreans. There has been attempted suicide in public to demonstrate the anger towards the Japanese government. This woman has amputated her finger to protest against the decision made by Shimane Prefecture of their designating Takeshima Day. However, the Japanese remain relatively indifferent about the issue.